Oh, there we go. All right. What's up, everybody? Alex Buzin for Proven Martial Arts. I'm here with a very, very special guest, my old music teacher here at John Jay, and now principal,
Yep.
Mrs. King.
So you stick around here long enough.
That's right.
No, I'm kidding.
So I wanted to make a quick video with Mrs. King here. Mrs. King, obviously now the principal of John Jay, leader in the community. So I kind of figured that she would be a awesome person to, sit
Thank
down
you.
with. Of course.
And I get to sit with an awesome ex-student who's now an awesome business leader.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on the show.
On the show.
Just had to have fun.
Thank you for being on the show. We'll be back after these messages.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. So I wanted to first start off, Mrs. King, if you could. Can you give us just a little bit of background about yourself, and what got you to this point as the principal?
Sure.
However long you like to go.
I think I always loved school. Moved around a lot as a kid, so I knew that no matter what we were doing, I was always going to be ending up going to school, and that was going to be like my home. No matter if we were in a new town or whatever, just moved around a lot, and nothing bad, just moved a lot. So I really did like school, and I liked having a place to belong, and I liked learning. And I think I was probably in junior high, and I was in band, and I said, I think I want to do this. I think I want to be a band teacher. And so I just figured, let me work really hard. Let me see what I can do. And my folks also said, look, education's the only ticket anybody's ever going to give you. That's it. Nobody has to give you anything else ever. So I worked hard, decided to major in music ed, and then I got more scholarship for vocal performance rather than clarinet. And so I went to school for that, and then I taught. And I really liked doing the project, so I went into arts administration and kept working there, but I missed the building. Came back to teach some more, loved it, and went back for educational administration. And just the more projects and the more opportunity and the more people I could reach. And it's kind of you're in front of the scenes and behind the scenes at the same time. You're really working ahead to make sure everything's in place, and you're doing the planning, and you're collaborating with people, and at the same time you have to go out and talk about it. So it's like being two in one, but I just enjoy it. It's like an immersion in the work, and so when the job opened up, I put in for it, and it felt very natural, and here I am. I'm very blessed. I get to work with kids that I love, and community, and everything.
That's right. And Mrs. King being, as a music teacher, was my music teacher when I was here in John Jay, was an awesome teacher.
We had so much fun. The kids were awesome. We had an awesome curriculum. We just tear apart the music and discuss why this chord sounds this way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we would have good times.
Absolutely.
Really creative thinkers in that class.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the next question for you, as a leader, for John Jay, the school, what would you, how would you yourself define a leader?
Well, a leader has to be a servant first. Not to sound hokey, but it's your job to support your students, to support your teachers, your staff, whatever it is. You have to put those kids first, and that means serving. That means, look, you might be exhausted. You might have a ton of projects to do, but the kids need you to be at this event, or the kids need you to deal with a situation, or a parent might have some concerns and they really want to meet. You have to set your stuff aside and just say, hey, I'm here for you. What does your child need? You'd want it for your own kid. So being a servant first, and then you have to go with your gut a little bit. You have to do your research and your homework, and you have to be brave sometimes. You have to make some tough calls, and you have to be okay with living with them. And I think as long as you're doing what you believe is best for the kids, educationally and for their health and well-being, then you're going to get it 99% of the time. And I also have a phenomenal team too. So that's being a leader means able to collaborate with a team and build leadership and build capacity, because without them, I'm really nothing.
It's true. It's true.
It is.
So you're more of a leader that leads from behind than leads from the front.
I would say both at the same time. It's really strange. I will do the planning, a lot of the planning, so that's where the behind comes from. But in the front, when it comes time to implement it, then I'm out in the front saying, here's what we're going to do, here's how it's going to work, and here's blah, 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 blah. And if there's an issue, we're going to do this and this and this and this. So there's a lot of out front, but not until all the homework and research is done.
You know what? I actually made a mistake. It's lead from the front, not behind.
I definitely would say that there's a lot. It is different than when I was an AP. There was a lot more of a supportive and planning, and then when you're a principal, you're really kind of out there a lot more. Which was for me, it was, oh, you want my picture? Okay, great.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just me. I'm just the music teacher. You want my picture? Okay, sure.
The example that I give behind, like, leader that leads from in front or behind, like think of like an army of soldiers.
Right.
Are you going to be the person who leads them?
I like to lead the charge.
Forward?
I do like to lead the charge, but I also don't believe in just booking it and leaving people. You have to go together. So it's almost like there's a vertical alignment of building. Like you do have your administration and teachers and students like that, but it functions horizontally. So even though we have an organizational structure, we all go together.
Yes.
So just if they could exist together, they do.
Very good.
Because students have a voice too. Sometimes they lead. I learn from them every day. So.
It's true. So very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask, do you believe leadership is something you're born with, or is it something that can be learned?
It's definitely both. There is a skill set that you do have to learn. You have to learn how to mediate and how to think and reflect and learn and do research and get people's voices and perspectives. There's a lot of skills that you can develop. But I also think you get born with a little that go-getter, you like, and again, it might be thinking you're born with it, or it could be, like I said, I moved around a lot, so I was always the new kid at the cafeteria table, so you get very used to introducing yourself, and you get very comfortable with being the first one to shake hands or say hi, or hey, you want to play? Can I play dodgeball? That kind of thing. So it definitely, I think it's both. I do think it's both. So.
Very good. So even for like the kids that might be a little bit more shy or
there can be excellent leaders who are introverts. There's nothing wrong with needing your time away and then being ready to present or being ready to make that decision. In fact, I would say they could probably be very gifted in their reflection. Whereas I'm an extrovert, I'm just kind of, out there speaking about it, doing it. For me, then the reflection piece is where I'll go back and do that afterwards. So it's probably just a different style of leadership, I would think.
That makes sense. I always found myself as an introvert. So,
and that's okay.
Like,
that's okay. You need your time. You need your time. There's a lot of work being done by introverts and extroverts, and there's some fabulous TED Talks about it.
Yeah.
Really interesting stuff going on.
Very, very interesting. Very cool. So, as a community leader in the community, what advice would you give someone as a tool to become a leader?
You got to get a thick skin. That's one of it, because you will not be able to make everybody happy ever, just because that's the world, and that's nothing bad. It's not to say that people aren't happy or are happy. It's just sometimes they won't be, or you have to make a decision that's in the best interest of a kid, or you have to make a tough call, or you have to give bad news, or you have to you just have to be okay. You have to go, all right, it's not something I enjoy doing, but I have to say, I'm sorry, you have a consequence for this. There could be something like that. Or, let's see, another thing you would need to have is creativity and out-of-the-box thinking, because there's always a challenge, always something you need to come up with. And you have to not be afraid to say, well, what else can we do? Why can't we make this work? And so you have to get that growth mindset of it's not that we can't do it, it's how can we do it and what's going to be best for kids. So I hope I answered your question.
No, that makes sense. Don't let I think of it as like, don't take no as an option, like as the answer.
Right, like don't be defeated.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. It's an opportunity, not a challenge. It's not if I'm going to finish this project that's going to take me forever to research. It's when I'm going to finish this project, and now how can I go about it best? And that's where I would say an introvert would take that time and really get it laid out nicely.
And another thing like that, to kind of go off on that, I've always teach the kids at the school, if you're not a winner, then you have to be a learner.
Yes. I read that somewhere too. There was a really, oh no, it was this, it was on like Twitter or something. It was a line. It was like, I either win or I learn.
Yeah.
I just thought that is so true.
Yeah.
Like, the animal itself either catches his prey and eats his meal and survives and grows and thrives, or he or she learns how to do it better next time. I just thought that is so basic and so true.
It's very, very true.
Win or I learn.
That's right. Very cool. So, what qualities would you say make for a good leader? As far as like, we could say like personality, or just as far as mindset kind of things.
Growth mindset is a must.
Good.
Organizations are changing all the time. You have to grow with them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to love what you're doing. So I don't know if it's just a love of the work or love of people. I think you need. I mean, if you don't love kids, leadership and education, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine doing this and not. It can never be just a job. It can never be just a job. It never will be for me, but I couldn't even bear the thought. But I would say I got that from a professor down at NYU. There was a lot of competition in the program, and it was fabulous. The rigor was incredible. And I just remember having a conversation with him, like, where do I go from here in administration? What do I do next? And he said, go where you love the work. And, okay, as long as you love the work, love what you do, you have to have passion, you have to have fire, but you also have to do the work. So you have to have the discipline and be willing to read all of those articles, all of those professional development materials. You're going to have some late nights in order to prep your faculty so you could say, here are the practices I want us to improve upon so that our students thrive.
Yeah.
You have to.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And you know what? If I can kind of like piggyback off of what you had said about the professor at NYU, you said one of the things that it's like a quality or just just the ability to have somebody multiple sources of information.
Yes, resources are huge. You have to listen to the counsel of many wise people to make a good informed decision, and that's where I'm so blessed to have such a good team. But even great teachers, you pull them in. Hey, can I get your take on this? Can I get your feedback? Or I'll pull an idea in, pull a kid in. Hey, is this lame? Do you like this? What don't you like about it? You have to be able to listen and gather that information, but then you also have to be ready to stand and make that decision and stick with it, and then
Yeah. It's very true. Very true. So, next question. What challenges do you think kids face these days that make it hard for them to reach their full potential or become leaders themselves?
I don't know if they're any different or they're just more in their face because it's social media. And social media is a fantastic tool. It really is, and a great learning tool. But if you're already a teenager, for example, because I deal with the teens, and you're already could be insecure, or you don't know what you want to do, or you're comparing yourself. When I went to school, you did that with magazines and TV, or what you heard or what you saw, but now it's always in your hands. And so I could see students needing to turn away from anything that they find negative and kind of be true to themselves could be more of a challenge, I would think.
Okay.
So they don't feel defeated, because you make a mistake or you say something and it's out there, and and part of that is they need to reflect more before they put some things out there, and there is that part of it too. But I could see that being a real challenge. You have a fight with a friend and everybody knows about it. It's a lot different than when you passed a paper note in class.
Yeah.
So that could be a challenge, but at the same time, there's also a world full of resources at their fingertips that we never had. So it's exciting and scary.
Yeah,
it's a huge power.
Very true. To kind of go off of that, how big of a role do you think things like bullying or even like drug abuse would play in?
There are huge opiate issues in the Hudson Valley. I mean, worldwide, I understand, and in the United States, drugs and alcohol addiction issues are always difficult, and we're so thankful to have support services here in the school for it. We are very blessed to work with CAPE. But that is a challenge for kids. Very, there are students that struggle. There are adults that struggle. And the same thing with bullying. DASA law has been a real game changer. Thankfully, DASA law was put into place in 2012. It has set criteria of how to deal with bullying, to eradicate it. So I could see kids having some real negative things in their lives, but don't let that define you. Don't be defined by a trial, a tribulation, something sad, some challenge you had, but rather, how did you overcome it? That I think that's what, again, it goes back to that mindset. It's not, I win or I learn, or it's not, I was defeated, or one kid picked on me and I was bullied, and I am of worth, I am of value, and here's how I overcame that. And there should be a restorative measure in place too, because that bully needs to understand that they're hurting people, and most likely is a hurt person themselves. You don't just act out. So there's definitely a conversation that needs to be had to say, look, this is not okay, and here's your consequence, but also the restorative measure of, here's how to function appropriately in the future, and to know that you did hurt somebody, and how you can restore that relationship. So, definitely real challenges that are out there these days for kids, but also great resources and great adults that are here to help them.
Absolutely. It was funny. We had whenever I have students. I actually had a student about a month or two ago come in and tell me he had a problem with a kid in school who was hitting him. I was like, that's very interesting. You don't look like a punching bag.
Right, and that's that. And we don't have a lot of that on the high school level because they're older and they use their words now. The younger kids tend to act out. But it's true. It's people will give you a dirty look sometimes. That's just the way of the world. Somebody on Route 9 is going to give you a face when you cut them off, or you didn't make the best decision driving or whatever. Okay, I have confidence. I'm a good driver. I need to move on with my life. So there's a little of the coping skills that get in there as well. But then obviously, any real issues need to be eradicated. But then to have that confidence and poise and stick-with-itness, as they call it. Okay, I don't look like a punching bag. You know what? You're right. And next time so-and-so gets in my space or says something to me or whatever, you know what I'm going to say? That's not okay. You can't speak to me like that. And this is how I'd like to be spoken to, and I will speak to you in a nice way too.
Yeah.
It's a huge learning process. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad you're doing that work with them.
Well, thank you.
It's very good.
Thank you. So last question that I have here. What outlets or activities would you suggest kids use or develop leadership skills?
Well, I would say public speaking is a must. You need to be able to speak. Research is important. Discipline. I would say anything that directly relates to what they love to do, passion, because then they will lead in that area. But I would definitely say public speaking is a very good one. And time management is a huge skill. Collaboration, you need to be able to work with people. And just respect of others, kindness. And you have to be a people person. You cannot take everything somebody says personally. People will disagree with you in leadership because you're making a decision based on the information you have, and you're trying to move something forward, in the best interest of the kids in this case. But other people have a different perspective of it. All right, I need to hear that. Is that a better idea? Yeah, you know what? Maybe we should reassess and go that way. That is a great idea. I'm so glad you brought that. Rather than, she thinks she knows it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then you lose a great idea, and who loses out but the people you're trying to serve in the first place.
Yeah. A lot of times, just to kind of go back to what I do versus because what we do is similar.
Yes, in the teaching aspect and the learning.
Yeah.
You have to hear your students and say, what is it you're really trying to say?
Yes. It's also a little bit different because I get to teach kids how to punch and everything, and it's not as accepted. It's not accepted in schools, of course. Yeah.
Well, but that's also the beauty of martial arts is it's a correct outlet and a disciplined outlet and a beautiful art, and it's not about hurting people.
Correct.
Which is the true way to do it.
Yeah. Lesson number 1: anybody comes to the school, we say you do not use this outside of here. This is for practice and just for self-defense.
Right.
We'll talk about what
But
really
for school,
is self-defense.
just come and see me.
Exactly.
I'll help you if you have a
Exactly.
problem. Just come see me. I'm here every day.
You have resources, and
and use them. They're free. We're here.
Exactly.
I don't think you've ever come here and not been here. I love it. I'm here all the time. I don't mind. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, I always love coming to visit.
It's fun. You're welcome to come anytime.
Well, thank you
so
very much.
So proud of you. One of our patriots.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's right.
And now you're giving back to the community and leading yourself. Very proud.
Doing my best.
Thanks
Thank you.
for coming.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much
having me on.
Of course. Thank you for doing this.
Very
I really
cool.
appreciate it.
I hope I don't look like too much of a dork on.
Oh, come on.
The video.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you.
Very cool. Thank you. Right. Excuse me. All right, everybody. Again, Alex Buza, Mrs. King from
Thank you.
John Jay. Hope you guys liked it. Please feel free to comment and share this thing around.
Any questions or comments? I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know what questions you have, and we'll be happy to answer it for you. Right. So until next time, guys. Peace.